Good morning. I'm Paige Browning. It's Monday. This is Seattle Now. The Asian market, Uwajimaya, is having a long overdue homecoming of sorts. Plans are in motion to open a new store in Tacoma. That's actually where the family-owned business first opened nearly 100 years ago. We'll talk to Uwajimaya's CEO and the reporter at the Puget Sound Business Journal who broke the news. But first, let's get you caught up. It's every lobbyist's favorite time of year. The 2026 legislative session kicks off in Olympia today. State lawmakers will have 60 days to wrangle over new bills, the supplemental budget, and taxes. One headliner of a proposal would set an income tax on millionaires, a bill backed by Governor Ferguson. Another bill would charge a payroll tax on companies on their salaries above $125,000. Oh, speaking of the legislature, Governor Ferguson has requested 6 bills he wants this session. One of them would make it a misdemeanor for people who aren't law enforcement to make or possess badges. Another would allow state health officials to propose recommendations for vaccines without having to rely on federal committees. That bill would also require health insurers to cover vaccines recommended by the state. And a King County jury is now deciding whether the city of Seattle is responsible for the death of a 16-year-old who was killed in the CHOP. That defunct protest zone is where Antonio Mays Jr. was shot to death in the summer of 2020. His father sued the city, alleging it botched the emergency response. Witnesses claimed Mays Jr. was killed by armed vigilantes known as CHOP Security, but no one's ever been charged with his killing. Check back for more headlines on tonight's episode of Seattle Now. A trip to Uwajimaya is a sensory experience. Aisles in the iconic Pacific Northwest market packed with everything from shrimp chips to live seafood to Asian vegetables. And don't forget the Kit Kats.
That's what I love the most about Uwajimaya is that for some people we are comfort, we're a taste of a home, we're a taste of traditions, their grandmother's kitchen, their grandmother's cooking. At the same time, for some people, we're a new discovery and we're like, oh my gosh, I've never tried this before. And I love that we can be both.
That's Uwajimaya President and CEO Denise Moriguchi. Her grandfather opened the first store in 1928 in Tacoma.
My grandfather came to Tacoma in the 1920s, and there were a lot of Japanese laborers working in the area, fishing, mining, logging camps. And so what he did was he went to the different kind of areas where they were living, and he sold them Japanese food.
Tacoma's Japantown thrived back then.
I saw a map recently of Japantown in Tacoma from the 1920s, and I was just blown away at how vibrant it was. There was barbershops, theaters, and restaurants, and hotels, and bathhouses, and it was a bustling, exciting, vibrant area.
But today, it's hard to tell that Japantown ever existed. That's because Tacoma's Japanese community was forced out during World War II following Executive Order 9066. It called for the removal and incarceration of people of Japanese descent. Denise's grandfather was among those incarcerated. When he was released, he didn't want to revisit the painful memories in Tacoma and started over in Seattle. The Moriguchis never reopened a store in Tacoma. But that's about to change. Uwajimaya has announced plans to open new locations in both Tacoma and Issaquah. She thinks her grandfather would be proud.
Even just in the last 30, 40 years, I've seen such growth and embracing of Asian food and culture. And so I think, that would just astound them, how much people are really supportive and love Asian grocery stores, and especially Uwajimaya.
You can expect the same intentional community gathering space that you find in Seattle's Chinatown International District store coming to Tacoma in 2027. Patricia Murphy talked to the reporter who broke this story, Puget Sound Business Journal reporter Shauna De La Rosa. Here's their conversation about what this could mean for Tacoma and her excited readers.
Uwajimaya is more than a grocery store. Let's describe it for listeners who may not be familiar, because it really is more of an experience.
It's definitely an experience. It's really culturally very important. I think just all of the Puget Sound region has really embraced this. My kids, for example, when they were in middle school, took field trips up to the International District to go to the district, but also the highlight was the store. And so it's something that I think lives in every homegrown Puget Sounder's heart.
I remember the first time I was there, and it's always an adventure. It was always a great time. So this new location is in the site of a former Hobby Lobby at the Tacoma Central Shopping Center. What is the plan?
So they've signed the lease deal. The owner of that particular building is Petro Monaco Jackson Properties, and they are actually also a Mercer Island-based company. So it's exciting on both sides because it's two locally owned companies coming together here. It's a 61,000 square foot space.
Wow.
Taking up that entire building, which really tracks with the size of stores that they typically have.
All right. This is also sort of a homecoming for Uwajimaya. We mentioned it in the intro. Let's talk about that story.
Sure. Uwajimaya was founded in Tacoma in 1928. They operated for about a decade or so, but then during World War II, all the citizens of Japanese ancestry living on the West Coast were forced into incarceration camps, including the Moriguchi family. After they were released, they came back, but they relocated to the Seattle area rather than returning to Tacoma. So this is really special for Denise Moriguchi, who's the president and CEO of the company. And she said to me, returning to Tacoma almost a century later is both exciting and deeply significant. So that is, in her own words, it puts an explanation point on why this is so important to that family as well as our city.
And, you know, we talk a lot on this show about how grocery shopping is so personal. I wonder what that might mean for people who remember and understand the original loss of this store.
Yes. I think that anyone who may have been around during that time, they would be my father, for example, and he's in his mid-80s at this point. There's not a lot of people probably that were around in Tacoma at the time that store, and they were probably really small. But that being said, when you're saying it's a very personal experience, what I'm seeing on comments on different blogs, everyone is so excited to have this store in Tacoma. Everyone's thrilled to have the store in this central, and it's a very central location. It's right by a Target, right off of Highway 16. So it's going to be easily accessible to everyone. It's right in the middle of Tacoma.
Shauna, you have a personal connection to this story as well. What is your family's history in the region?
My grandpa, his name was Goody Roram, and he owned a lawnmower repair and sales business in downtown Tacoma, which was near the Uwajimaya original store, which is located where the Marriott Hotel in downtown is now at this time. So my grandpa's store was close to that store, their store, and he had a lot of customers of Japanese ancestry, and he was very upset when they were put into incarceration camps. So he protected a lot of the property and assets of his customers because they were also his friends. So he was very involved in helping citizens of Japanese ancestry at that time. So for me personally, the fact that they're coming back now to their original city is especially poignant for myself. And I think a lot of people who have grandparents who have passed away over the years, but have told stories about the grief of that time and how upsetting it was for many people.
This is not the only new Uwajimaya in the works. Where else is the company planning to expand?
Sure. This store is opening in 2027. At the same time, there will be a store in Issaquah that we have also reported on that was previously announced. It will be opening also in 2027. So we have that to look forward to as well. And the reason that they are planning on moving into the Issaquah market is to serve that East Side market better.
Shauna, what else did you learn reporting this story? Anything interesting we should know about?
Denise Moriguchi, president and CEO of the company, is very lovely. So it was really kind of her to respond quickly to my request for a comment.
To your scoop, Shauna.
It was a scoop, right? It was a scoop. And yes, we were really, it was just, she was very kind to make that quick response. Everybody is really excited. All the brokers in the area are really excited to have them there because it becomes an anchor that will draw more tenants to the area, more customers to that shopping center. It's going to be good for all.
Yeah, there is a lot of hope in this grocery store. What does it mean for the city of Tacoma?
Oh, I think this is just another example of how Tacoma is coming back onto the map. There is so much interest. There's a Wood Springs hotel that's in the works, which will be located right behind that particular store. But it shows that we're getting attention from all over the country. We have commercial real estate investors buying multifamily properties they're developing in our area. We have local developers working really hard to build more housing. Tacoma is more affordable to live in than some of the cities further north, such as Seattle and even Everett, and definitely more affordable than it is to live on the east side. And we're also eventually going to get the Sound Link, which we're very excited to have. That's maybe a decade away. But as all these things come together, Tacoma will continue to see growth. It's going to continue to see the revitalization, and I think everybody kind of sees that coming, so they're getting in place to be here when it all really hits.
Interesting. Really appreciate that answer. Shauna De La Rosa covers real estate and economic development in the southern Puget Sound region for the Puget Sound Business Journal. Thanks a lot.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for listening to Seattle Now, and thank you so much to our generous donors for their support. You can give us a gift by clicking the link in the show notes, or support the show by following, rating, and reviewing it on your podcast app. That really helps. Today's episode was produced by Anna Marie Yanni, with help from Brooklyn Jamerson Flowers. It was edited by Caroline Chamberlain Gomez. Our production team also includes Andy Hurst, Vaughn Jones, and Patricia Murphy. Greg Kramer does our theme music. Seattle Now and KUOW Public Radio are members of the NPR network. I'm Paige Browning, and I'll see you tonight for Evening Headlines.